Great, hello everyone. Just catching up on some factorization of quadratics that a few of you seem to have a problem with today. What I'll do is I'll go through some of the common methods that we can use to factorize quadratics, starting with the common factor method, which is probably the simplest way to start factorizing. So we've got the common factor technique. Okay, this is I guess a fairly simple and straightforward method. In the first example, I'll look at 3x squared plus 6x. Let's factorize that. What we do there is look at what the common factor is in the two between 3x squared and 6x. Okay, so what's common between the two? What we have now, if I bring the 3 out as a common factor, okay, 3x squared plus 2x. Okay, taking a look at that, we can still see there's an x there, x squared, and an x there. So we still have something in common between these two values. So we can bring out the x as well. So we bring out the x. Now this becomes x plus 2. Okay, that's a factorized quadratic. There's one factor and there's the other factor. So factor A, factor B. Just to show that that's all worked, let's look at if this equals 3x x plus 2. Let's expand that out. Okay, it's an x. This equals 3x squared plus 6x, expanding that out. Okay, and that's the same as where we started. That's the first common factor example that I want to give you. Okay, example 1. Let's look at the second example. Example 2. Okay, something a little bit more complicated. Minus 2x squared plus 9x. Okay, let's look at what do the numbers have in common. Not much. Well, one's a 2, one's a 9. If you compare this one, we had 3 and 6. 3 multiplied by 2 is equal to 6. We could do that. We don't have anything in common between the 2 and the 9. Okay, but we still have the x's out here. Okay, so if I bring the x out, which is in common, so minus x, we end up with x on the inside. Have a 2x. Okay, minus 2x minus 9, because we already have a minus out here. Okay, that's one way to do it. I'm just going to show you a slightly different way to get to that, just for clarity. If I go again, minus 2x squared plus 9, what I could have done there is just brought out the x. Okay, left it as minus 2x plus 9. Okay, both of these are the same. Okay, there's nothing different between the two. The value is the same. If I evaluate that again, if I just go back to expanding that out, we end up with minus 2x plus x squared plus 9x. And if I do the same here, we get minus 2x squared plus 9x. Okay, so they're both the same. Okay, so there's two examples of how you can use the common factor method, which is, as I said, probably the simplest method you can use. Okay, so let's stop there and try and solve a few problems using the common factor method, and then I'll move to the next video, which is the difference of two squares.